right in the midst of the grind of fall camp. Pleased with our guys' attention to detail, but we're a long ways away from competency, but that's where we're at. Many times as coaches, we have the gift of criticism. You didn't do this right, you didn't do that right, but that's grinding them to make them better. The attitude of our players is good, and I don't think we had anybody go down today. Having more guys come back, it looked to me like Rob Priester, I know he was listed as limited, but certainly didn't look limited today. Really pleased with Logan Wilson, had really a nice pick for a pick six, and Jalen Watson did as well. Did some pressure work against one another. I thought our defense probably had the better of the offense there, but nonetheless, I think we're making progress. We didn't do much with the kicking game. We'll work on that. We have a 2-day practice, so we'll work on the kicking game this afternoon. Questions?
What's been the most encouraging things as you kind of get to the end of the grind of camp? Is what's been most encouraging and thing that needs to get shored up maybe a little bit?
Well,
more?
first of all, the thing that has been most encouraging is the buy-in by our players and doing all the little things right. That may seem like an elementary issue, but being a coach for a long time, typically those are things that begin to take steps to better performance on the football field. So really encouraged about that. I think what's probably concerning is the thing we need to work on is just our execution, and that's an overused term a lot of times as a coach. Well, we're not executing. Well, part of that's one of the reasons why you have coach on your shirt too. I mean, to get them to execute. So but we've got a lot of defense in, a lot of offense in, and we'll need to pare those things down as we get ready to work on our opponents.
Coach, I think I saw James Price and Tony McCransky were in red.
Yeah.
What are their injuries?
James Price has got a slight first-degree AC sprain, and we think he'll be back tomorrow. Anthony McCransky, I believe he's got a pulled groin, something like that, but it wasn't anything major. If it were major, I'd certainly know about that.
Craig, you always mention when you play freshmen, it's about their physical and mental abilities to handle everything in a position of need. And you've played freshmen on the offensive line before. So what do you really like about Gavin? Getting him in there, and does he compare favorably to Caden or even Wallace, even though they play different positions? Freshmen that you've played before.
We appreciate Caden and Zach, and every young man's different. I would say that at this stage of practice in the games, that Gavin's ahead of those guys. Anytime you play a freshman offensive lineman, it's always a challenge because you've got a physical component and then also the mental work. But Gavin has been very competent, understanding his assignments. He's got good size, and so I know there's a lot of moving parts out there, but we're really encouraged about the combination that we've seen with Chase and Gavin, and a lot of that has to do, Chase moved a different position. We certainly appreciate Dorian, but we've been well pleased with Gavin. We put him in a lot of pup situations. When I say pup, that's pass under pressure. A lot of moving parts for an offensive lineman. Then we've done some physical work where he's had to come off and double team a defensive tackle. And so he is a freshman, but he's further along than what we would expect.
Coach, what faction of this team have you seen the most improvement from throughout this fall camp?
I'd say the quarterback position. And, and a lot of that is attributed to Josh. I think during the course of the winter, he put on some lean muscle mass. I think he worked hard in spring. But we even saw elements of improving his competency, his physical stature from spring ball into the summer. And I want to credit our strength and conditioning staff. I know that's a segment group between him and Nick, but I can tell you when you play well at quarterback, you got a chance to be pretty good. And if that guy's not playing well, it's hard. I spent a lot of years as a defensive coordinator, and it was easy calling defenses when that guy's not playing well. When he's in a rhythm, and he's a good player. So that's, for me, that's what I've seen as our best improvement.
Coach, you mentioned Logan with the interception today. Have you been happy with his camp so far, or what have you seen there?
Well, he's playing a newer position, and in high school, of course, he played corner, but he's 6'2", 220 pounds. He runs 4'6", and he's one of our best tacklers. So that says linebacker's a pretty good position for him. He's still in the process of learning, but there's certain things that you can't coach. I think he's got good blitzing ability. He had a nice pick six today, so you go, well, the quarterback probably shouldn't have thrown it there, but he had a nice break, and so he covers the field well. you know, it's always great to see a Wyoming player come in. And all these players are important. I want to be real clear, but there's a special place in my heart for a kid from Wyoming.